fact, it's kind of weird that Suzumiya Haruhi was sort of like the catalyst for the new generation of anime otaku in the 2000s. But if you think about it, Haruhi is a annoying bitch that nobody actually likes. Everybody likes Ayanami Light, Nagato, but that's about it. It doesn't really have massive anime otaku potential, and maybe that was what made it popular. People weren't hit by a barrage of catch shit that we ended up getting at a slower pace. Right, yes. Turn down the fucking Hirano Aya screaming. When is it gonna end? Haruhi, that is. I think the answer is never. Shut the fuck up! You can hear me now, right? Fuck. Also, I think the mic might be in the wrong position. Here, I'll do the ASMR stream. How about this, guys? Fucking ASMR. What if I just did just whisper stream the entire time? How about that? Yeah, that's good, isn't it? Just me mumbling around the mic. I fucking hate my own voice, so this might be a good way for me to listen to myself, you know, if I just whisper everything. Random fact, black kid from a decent family lives on 3 things: fighting games, shonen, and church. Yes, and when the kid gets corrupted, it goes from shonen to more anime. When he can no longer satisfy his anime weeb by Dragon Ball alone and starts consuming Suzumiya Haruhi, that's when he's showing off warning signs, and his black father has to take him to the basketball court and teach some, you know, alpha male chat into him before it's too late. This kind of reminds me of the time I was watching a BaalBud stream. Excellent title for your next light novel isekai experience. That one time I was watching a BaalBud stream. My ass quivers the wrong way when you do that. Don't do it. I can sort of understand the ASMR like whispering trigger in the brain. Like I can sort of feel it, but not enough to the point where I seek out the content or avoid it one way or the other. I just think it's a extremely cheap way for women to make a living, crinkling sheets of paper near the microphone and whispering it and like rubbing their feet on the microphone. It's shocking that there's women who can make a living off doing that shit. I'm sure like pretty much every other type of streamer in Twitch, they got in early and they've never had to like really let go of their fan base and build it up again. Because like how the fuck would you differentiate between one ASMR streamer and another, you know? It's all just the same shit. But maybe I don't know anything about ASMR Coomers. If we have any ASMR Coomers in chat, please explain why you prefer one ASMR girl over the other. Some of my favorite moments in chat is when like you get a actual unapologetic fetishist in chat who tries and explains themselves and doesn't recognize how fucking insane they are. There was one time I was drawing a picture of Juri from Street Fighter wearing sneakers because, you know, she's all about the foot fetish. And like there was one person who showed up in chat who was like legitimately upset that I was covering up her feet, and he was like, "Fuck you." I was like, "Holy shit, we found one." He's actually angry that the feet are covered up. What do you... Turning women into skin suits and wearing them is weird and fucked up. I've read a few of those doujins on eHentai, but they didn't really make my penis hard. I'll give you that. It's just a very strange, like, combination of, I guess, wanting to become a woman and also, like, wanting to eat and kill women, I think. I don't know. The skin suit fetish is very strange, if you ask me. I will never understand that in a million years. I have an easier time understanding stuff like vor and giantess porn more than the skin suit fetish. That shit is the weirdest shit. Buffalo Bill Bros. Look it up on eHentai. There's quite a few of them. Like it's always about like a guy becoming that specific woman, and they just like put on the suit and they zip it up and they just look exactly like them. It's such a bizarre fetish. Don't look it up, that's my thing. You guys get your own. LMAO. That's right. We can only have... Each person is only allowed to have one fetish per person. If one person is masturbating to Sonic, the other person has to masturbate to Mario. That's just how it works, guys. I'll be masturbating to attractive heterosexual women having sex in missionary position for the purpose of procreation. So all you guys don't use that. That's my thing from now on. Everybody else has to find something else. I think VTubers ought to stay more in character backstory without ever talking about IRL selves. Otherwise, it's just another chick that sings games. How many of you guys in chat actually give money to VTubers? Because if you're not wasting your life savings on donating money to these fake anime girls, then I don't think they care about what your opinion is. Ultimately, they're just going to do what gives them the most money from whales, so... If they can get more money by, you know, claiming that IRL, they're also a cute girl and they need your support. Because, like, if they stay in character the entire time, and they're like, you know, an anime catgirl princess or some shit, according to their character setup, then why would you give them money in the first place? Ultimately, the reason why people donate money is, like, deep down in their subconscious, or maybe not in their subconscious, maybe in the foreground of their conscious. All these incels kind of believe that they'll be able to fuck the girl at some point. And they don't know what the girl looks like, so they automatically assume they would want to see her in real life, associating her with her anime avatar, without considering that maybe, you know, IRL version of her is not attractive, but that's a whole other issue. I'm too poor to donate money to anyone, but you should be donating money to me. That's important. Please understando. This is my job. Most VTubers drop the kayfabe less than a month in. Yeah, it's pretty hard to keep that shit up. The only person who can actually continue to be in kayfabe is Low Tier God, of course, who is in real life just a really nice person who would never tell any of his viewers to KYS. But he just has to keep the kayfabe up and pretend like he's mean. In real life, he's the nicest guy you'll ever meet. Also, DSP pretends to be bad at video games, but he's really a professional gamer. He could easily beat Metal Gear Solid 3, but he just pretends to be bad at video games because it's more entertaining that way. Thanks for this Prime sub, or it's not a Prime sub. Thanks for just the general sub, Wishy Wishy. I appreciate the support. Unlike all these other vagrants free riding on the stream. Stolen internet. Someone post the copy pasta. Stolen laptop. Neighbor's Wi-Fi. I can't figure out how thick Aubrey's neck is supposed to be here. Every time I draw like a character in semi-profile, I feel like I need to bring up reference images. See, the neck actually starts way farther in the back. It's actually really close to where the ears are. If you're in full profile like this. This is why it's helpful to just have a CG model and pull that shit up. If you're drawing heads from different angles. You might think that you remember everything, but you actually don't. Never sub, never donated, ad block on, stolen laptop, neighbor's Wi-Fi, mama's house, stolen solar panels. Like, half of this is relevant to me, by the way. I just downloaded Brave because I heard that YouTube was adding more ad blocks, or there was a 4chan thread about it. And then people were talking about Twitch ad block and how uBlock doesn't apply to Twitch, and how I always had I've always had difficulty trying to get ad block working for Twitch, and I haven't been able to find a way to get it to work so far. But somebody in the thread was like, I have Brave on, and then that plus uBlock will block Twitch ads, and I was like, oh, I should try that. And it does, it works. So if you're having difficulty blocking Twitch ads, try Brave plus uBlock. I was having difficulty for the longest time to get no Twitch ads, and it finally has worked, so. You wouldn't download pirate this stream. You wouldn't steal a car, guys. Seems to be a kind of outdated anti-piracy message, considering like half of the kids were driving around with stolen Hyundais when that security breach method became super popular. All the kids on TikTok literally teaching each other how to steal Hyundais and Kias with their superior Korean engineering. Did you watch Forsen's stream today? He was playing a game with in-game voice chat. Felt like good old days. Feels good, man. Old Forsen, hashtag. I have literally never seen a Forsen stream in my life, so I don't even know what he looks like. I think I can only identify 2 or 3 streamers total. I can identify Clint Stevens, because I actually watch him when he streams once every 5 years. People, please stop subbing to Clint Stevens so he'll actually start streaming again, so he won't just have a lot of money. I can identify Nick Merckx, because I started watching him for like 5 minutes before he became super popular as a Call of Duty streamer. And I just remember how fucking huge his neck was. That guy must be on like a shit ton of human growth hormone. Just his neck size is insane. Look at this completely all natty body right here. Subvert it by turning it off before loading the YouTube page and turning it on while never clicking refresh. YouTube immediately turns off your ad block, by the way. I haven't seen a YouTube ad in, I don't know, years and years and years. So whatever they're using, it's not very good. I'll worry about YouTube ads when I actually see one, but I don't know. The YouTube ad, their aggressiveness, despite their messages about how aggressive they are, they seem to be way less competent at making sure you see ads compared to Twitch. Because I wasn't able to find a good ad blocker for Twitch just until recently. But YouTube, I've been able to block on pretty much any of my browsers with any amount of ad blockers. So I don't know, they don't seem to be that good at it. I don't know why it's so much more difficult for them. Surely just a neck workout copium. He's just naturally gifted, guys. It's just his neck genetics, you know. That's growth hormone? I don't know. I think it's safe to assume that at this point, any guy who's looks like jacked and you're like, oh, wow, he must have worked out really hard and just eating a lot of chicken and broccoli. He looks jacked, but he doesn't look that jacked. That means he's probably natty. It's like, no, he's using testosterone. They're all fucking using. Unless the guy looks like he's a fucking shrimp with no muscle mass, then all of these guys who are on camera probably are using some form of like human growth hormone. I had to turn on ad block on YouTube some years ago when they put an ad in the middle of a song. YouTube just wants you to subscribe for a mere $50 a month or whatever. I will say I'd be willing to pay YouTube $10 a month if they weren't fucking greedy pieces of shit, you know? YouTube is adding ads for YouTube Shorts even if you get YouTube Premium, LMAO. Here's the thing. There's no point, because there's no point at which corporations are going to say, okay, we've made enough money, we're not going to make the user experience any worse. There's no point in it being like trying to meet corporations halfway, you know? They're not going to be like, okay, we've fucking raped your ass enough. We're going to stop now. The line must go up eternally, so... It doesn't matter if you pay them YouTube Premium for $10. Eventually, the shareholders are going to be like, why hasn't our value increased? So then they'll start increasing that $10 to $15. And then they'll also add ads, and so on and so on, so... That's the point we are in this capitalist cycle. So you may as well get used to piracy and ad blocking. Haha, just kidding, Twitch. I would never support piracy because that's illegal. Twitch was made with ad placement in mind, while YouTube, being a very old site, can only manage to roll out updates. Interesting. Every fucking corporation needs to make more money than they made last year or investors start leaving. Yes. It's not good enough to just be profitable. The profitability must continue to increase and accelerate infinitely, exponentially. It will never be enough. Ironically, the one exception to this rule is Japanese corporations. Maybe not the Japanese corporations that are working in the American sphere like Nintendo or Sony and shit like that. But there's quite a few Japanese corporations, mid-sized corporations that still have some sort of sensibility about common good and, like, you know, treating their customers well and stuff. And as a result, you can feel it in Japanese society in terms of, like, the way consumer products, their quality and ease of use and, like, their pricing and shit like that. But on the other hand, Japanese society is not American society, so you can never expect that shit from, you know, whatever Western country you're living in. How did your prime physique compare to Michael Phelps? Unfortunately, I don't have size 15 feet or whatever the fuck that freak of nature has, so I wasn't very a fast swimmer. Michael Phelps is like a body that was created in a lab to swim fast, so he's much closer to some sort of hybrid mutant than a human being, I would say. Japan is a land of consumerism, bro. Japanese consumerism is customer-driven consumerism, and there's still some sort of sensibility about competition between corporations to provide a better product. Whereas American consumerism or capitalism is all supply side. It's all about becoming so big that you have a monopoly and then you don't have to compete based on quality because your customers don't have any other choice. Investors exist to be lied to. Dark Souls or Demon Souls was made out for the director tricking investors into claiming it was an Oblivion clone. To be fair, you could say that King's Field is an Oblivion clone. It's a first person, you know, walk around and hit skeletons game. That's pretty close to Oblivion clone. When are we getting our King's Field remake? I think we've had enough Soul slop for a while. I think I'd be actually ready for a King's Field made by the current From Software. Janky ass, high difficulty, first person combat made by Miyazaki. We're ready, Miyazaki, give it to us. It's kind of sad. There are news about gender wars in Japan, plus the declining birth rates too. People keep on pretending like Japan is the land of declining birth rates, when in fact the entire planet has declining birth rates. That's just the mainstream media tricking you. There's not enough negative shit to say about Japan besides their fucking awful work culture and stuff. So everyone is still clinging to the shit about, like, Japan having horrible birth rates and aging population and high suicide rate and stuff. But in fact, most of those problems that we associate with Japan are actually the same problems that a lot of other countries have. Declining birth rates is something that literally happens in every single first world economy country on the planet. But for some reason it's associated with Japan. The other ones I hear is South Korea. South Korea is ahead of other countries in terms of its declining birth rates by a mile, and it actually has real gender wars. But Japanese declining birth rate is like 1.3 or 1.2 or 1.15 or some shit like that, which is kind of in line with a bunch of other first world countries, honestly. if your feminist mother is like, oh, look at the Scandinavian countries, they have so many pro-woman policies that help mothers and stuff like that. This shows that, you know, declining birth rates is it can be solved if government would just listen to women. And if you actually check the number, it's like 1.3. Just by simple math, you need to have like 2 kids to replace your population, people. So it doesn't, you know, 1.5 might be slightly better than 1.2, but it ain't that much better. There's literally no first world economy country that doesn't have declining birth rates. And no country has figured out any sort of way to solve it, so... all the news media being like, oh, Japan, it's gonna go extinct so soon because its birth rate is so low. It's like, yeah, you and every other country. Also, the thing is that Japan is gonna have a harder difficulty solving their population issue through immigrants, although they're kind of trying because Japanese is difficult. And also, they don't want to let the filthy gaijin into their country. Whereas America can always solve its population problems by importing a million, you know, African laborers. Or South African refugees to help them from their white genocide, you know. Is the effect of, what is it, industrial age of third world countries are considered agricultural. Apologies, I'm still grasping the differences in technicalities. I don't think anybody truly understands the distinction. But like, the only countries that still have birth rates with like 6 people per woman are like the real African countries, like, I don't know, Nigeria and stuff like that. Are they still agricultural? I don't know. They have some amount of developed economy. That's something for the macroeconomists and sociologists to figure out. The only first world country that still has high birth rate is an extremely weird one, which is Israel. So you can combat your high birth rates if you have like medieval mentality where you're like a religious fundamentalist society that's surrounded by other countries that want to kill you. So maybe that's a good example. But even like countries like Saudi Arabia have declining birth rates, so... France has solved it. Nanny state and tax the fuck out of everyone. I mean... France doesn't have high birth rates. None of the Western nations have high birth rates. What is France? France birth rate. 1.79 and it's only going down. It was 3 in 1960. I mean, they're keeping it above, you know, 1.2 or some shit, but remember that they also have, you know, a shit ton of people from African countries in the Middle East as well, so... if you were to limit that birth rate to the birth rates of quote-unquote white people in that country, then it would be quite different. At this point, it's mostly about the trade relationships between nations and technological advancements. So in terms of birth rate, my theory is that people sort of subconsciously have a general feeling about like the rate of replacement of population. So when they feel that all of their children aren't going to die of polio and shit like that, they stop having as many kids. So basically, if life is cheap, people have a lot of kids. And if life becomes more valuable, people have fewer kids. Is my theory. So if everybody feels that, even if they have kids, that like half of their kids are going to get run over by a streetcar tomorrow, they'll have more kids. If we look at one way to prove this theory would be, we have this war in Ukraine and Russia right now, and we had a huge baby boomer period post World War II after this period of huge stress on societies. So if Ukraine and Russia reach a truce and people feel like the war is over and they have to get back to repopulating their countries, and there's a huge population spike, I think that would prove my theory right. Is that once people feel that, you know, they're at risk of extinction or some shit, they have a bunch more kids. My ovaries are dried. I took too long to confess. Elon seething right now. Is it true that Elon fucked up his junk, which is why he has to have children through artificial insemination? I asked Grok if Elon had his kids through artificial insemination, and it confirmed this, so that makes me think that the theory that Elon fucked up his penis in some way or the other might be correct. On the other hand, he's on like a million drugs, so I guess he wouldn't have to fuck up his penis for something else to be going wrong. If you're on lethal doses of ketamine or whatever that he's on, who knows what's fucking you up. I mean, any guy will know who's been on drugs will know, like, the first problem you have is your it no longer gets hard, so thank you for this. I've been trying to grasp a reason as to why the current world is in this state. The truth is, nobody actually knows, including people that are smarter and well paid to try and figure out this problem. If they did, and there was some sort of solution, all the governments would do it because, you know, it's a huge problem for all the capitalist societies. There's a lot of incels that will be like, this is all because women have joined the workforce, etc., etc., but you see huge population decreases in countries where there's definitely not much feminism, like Saudi Arabia and shit, and women probably haven't joined the workforce much. Even those have had pretty huge declines in birth rates, so nobody really knows what's causing it. Forsen could fix it. Forsen can fix everything. That's why he should be unbanned, no matter how many horse cocks he shows on stream. Incels will request for government-mandated girlfriends. I thought I wanted a government-mandated girlfriend, and then I realized I didn't. Because I like being alone. Can't we just, like, create test tube babies with our technology now? If we can't create test tube babies now, I think we'll be able to create them pretty soon in the future. If women refuse to have children, I think at some point the government will literally start creating test tube babies. The capitalism line must go up forever. We do not live in Gattaca yet, Ball. I thought there was like some like Chinese studies being done on this shit. Artificial babies. Scientific research. Scientific research into artificial wombs, also known as ectogenesis or artificial placentas, is focused on improving outcomes for extremely premature infants. How close are we to ectogenesis? Full ectogenesis is still a long way off, but it's important to discuss it now so that we can have a more informed view of the issues it raises. Sounds like, what do you call it? Nuclear fusion. The tech bros have been being like, guys, we're almost there. Nuclear fusion by 2025 for the last 40 years. Cloning is illegal. We would need to ask a very difficult question as to where a human life would start, and people haven't been able to get a consensus over it. I didn't say they would clone it. I just say they'd use an artificial womb. It wouldn't be a clone. It would be an egg and a sperm, and then the government would just pump out babies without an official womb-based mother, and then raise them in government facilities to be the next generation of Walmart employees. Google photos for human placenta. It's like Doom Eternal level gore. Yes, the gore was always the women we met along the way. The female body was always the most disgusting thing on the planet. We never wanted to have our government-mandated girlfriends. We only wanted beautiful anime girls without disgusting female bodies. But unfortunately, that's not how babies are made. Human life starts when you realize the Star Wars prequels were mostly great. Define mostly. I think we can all agree that pod racing is cool, but there's a lot of other stuff besides the pod racing. Also, I think our standards for movies have gone down in the last 10 years because, you know, Marvel and Star Wars has been nothing like Disney taking over your favorite franchise to remind you that it was actually way better back then. Suddenly everything looks rose-colored. That's still cloning. That's just semantics over the technical execution. There's no human involved besides promoting. No, cloning is literally, your definition is quite literally wrong. Cloning is where you use the same fucking DNA of one person. Taking a guy's sperm and a woman's egg and sticking it in a non-female included womb is just having a fucking baby, except the womb is, instead of being inside a woman, it's in like a different thing. So it would be like that the mother, it would be genetically, it would be a normal human being. It just wouldn't be in a womb. Fine. Instead of cloning, we'll just import 1 billion African children, which was the plan all along. We'll just have third world countries give us immigrants. I'm personally very glad that human population is going down because, you know, global warming and all that shit. We don't need as many humans as we have on the planet right now, for sure. So, I'm totally okay with capitalism crashing. No governmentally mandated personal force and clone. I'm the personal force and clone. Haven't you noticed? I'm basically force and. The human race yearns for consolidation. I don't think people understand what they want. At least American voters don't. Can you stream later? My favorite VTuber's on and I don't have 2 brains yet. I mean, we can just be on at the same time. I don't talk very often. Ugh. Deadpan voice, delusional about gaming skills, handsome, probably murdered someone. Let me look at a photo of Forsen to decide who's more handsome, me or him. I'm more attractive than Forsen, I'm gonna say. But this might be old Forsen. Maybe new Forsen is hotter. Old Forsen is back, PogChamp. Yeah, no, I think I'm hotter than old Forsen. Forsen, come and debate me if you think otherwise, you coward. How is the heat at the moment? It fucking sucks. I'm putting my feet in a bowl of cold water to try and destroy my body heat so I'm slightly cooler. I think it might be working. I also have a thermos full of ice water and the fan on. Also, the air conditioning is on, but the vent is too far from my where I'm sitting on the bed, and this room is too fucking hot for it to make a serious difference. So yeah, fuck my life. Sorry to hear, brother. We'll see how it is in the future when I have insulation in this room, which should be this year. At some point this year, I have to move out of this room so it can be renovated, but, you know. BaalBud versus Forsen mud wrestling at TwitchCon. I still think that it's both funny and horrifying that there was a, not necessarily, what's it called, a foam pit. Those pits with like pieces of foam full of it where you're supposed to practice trampoline jumping and shit where you can jump into. Except at the TwitchCon they had a foam pit that was set up by like some weird shitty company and it was only like a foot deep. So a woman understandably jumped into it like you're supposed to and she like fractured her fucking spine or something. That's basically all you need to know about TwitchCon, is that they couldn't even do a fucking foam pit correctly. It's pretty crazy that a Japanese completely amateur black market event like Comic-Con held in the middle of the fucking heat stroke inducing Japanese summers every year has less fatalities and injuries than something that's supposed to be a professionally done corporate event like TwitchCon. It's literally a 3-day event to sell black market porno in Japan with like 1 million attendees every fucking year and nobody actually dies. They've got Comic-Con in the winter too. You're right, I forgot. There's winter and summer. I only think about the summer because Tokyo winters are kind of mild, so it wouldn't be a big deal for me to attend winter Comic-Con. Whereas Japanese summers are just like, you know, I'm just gonna fucking die. And you're surrounded by sweaty nerds who don't bathe, so the smell must be incredibly intense. Sweat your ass and freeze your ass off. I don't know what part of the world you're from, but Tokyo winters are extremely underwhelming. I barely even wore jackets when I was in Tokyo during the winter. It almost never gets below freezing. And Obviously, freezing isn't that cold to begin with, so not particularly a big deal. Summer, on the other hand, you're just like one step away from just straight up dying. C106 is the latest? Yeah, not for another 2 months. It's August, right? So also, it's all fucking Blue Archive now, so I can't get too excited. How can I get excited when I don't care about your fucking gacha? Winter Comic Con is always around Christmas too, so it's never worth it to go there over spending time with a family. Why would you go there in the first place? You don't want to go to a massive festival to be surrounded by disgusting, sweaty, oily, fucking disgusting otaku. That's an awful idea about how to spend your time. It's not like you can't buy the doujins on DL site or, you know, Toranoana or any of these locations. It's just like games. It's not like before when you had to get a hard copy. There's probably going to be a digital version without even naming all the piracy. It's not like you have to go there in person. I wouldn't go there. Obviously, that's a million people don't agree with me. It's impossible to dissuade Japanese from going to a certain event just because there's a huge crowd there. If anything, it makes Japanese people more willing to get their ass there. Japanese people are the same as Chinese people and Taiwanese people and stuff, in that when they see a line outside a ramen restaurant or something and there's like 20 people waiting to eat, they don't be like, oh, I'll get something else. I don't want to wait in line for this ramen place for 30 minutes just so I can sit down. Instead, they're like, oh, if there's all these people in line, it must be good. So if anything, hearing that Komiket is overcrowded and full of sweaty, disgusting nerds is just going to get people hotter for the potential of going there. Blue Archive, Azure Lane, Azuru Lane, Rikorisu Recoilu. I don't know if Rikorisu Recoil is even that popular. And FGO, do you need any more? I want fighting game porn, okay? I grew up on fighting game girls being the hottest girls, and I still think they're the hottest girls. Unfortunately, fighting games have like 1/30th of the players that, you know, even the lowest population gacha has, so... Korea and China are taking over. Japan is doomed. Not in the doujin market. And the doujin market is overwhelmingly drawn by Japanese and Taiwanese. Also taking over in what? Gachas? I don't give a fuck about gachas. Gachas are the lowest denominator of shit content. They appeal to people who like girls, i.e. men, heterosexual men. And they appeal to people who have gambling addiction, vulnerable personalities. The people who play gacha will play literally anything as long as it has a element of chance to it and there's flashing colors and shit. They have the basic human instinct to play a video game with hot girls in it, but that's just to get them through the door. Once they get through the door and they roll their first gacha, after that it's just like their lizard brain gambling instinct kicks in and they'll never stop playing that stupid fucking video game. They made that Grand Blue fighting game. Does that count? I would play Grand Blue if I was a gacha guy. It feels close enough to what I liked about early PlayStation era Square Enix games and stuff. So it would definitely be my gacha of choice if I had to play a gacha, and I tried to play it for a very short period of time, but as soon as a game is like, hey, if you want to keep on playing, now you have to start rolling, I'm like, yeah, I'm done. I can't sustain enjoying a video game at the same time as I have to think about how I've just wasted like $30 trying to roll for a JPEG that I can never get that money back. I'd sooner get into actual gambling than, you know, rolling gacha. It just seems like a horrible way to waste my time and money. Taiwan #1. Taiwan got colonized by Japan, and I guess that mind broke them into the Japanese anime ways. They're probably the country that's closest to Japan in terms of personality. China and Japan are very different. I'd say China is way closer to the United States in which how people think and behave. Korea is always like Japan but worse and sort of an in-between level of dystopian society. Sort of in between Japan and China, where China is like the full dystopia, Korea is like semi-dystopia. But Taiwan is very close. Gacha is actual gambling, bro. No, actual gambling has a potential return of money. Gacha is a game of chance, except it's not a game of chance because you're 100% guaranteed to lose your money. And you're actually also 100% guaranteed to lose whatever JPEG gacha girlfriend character you rolled for, because at some point that company is going to shut down its servers and everything stored in that server is going to get wiped off the map. If it's some no-name Square Enix gacha that they roll out 5 times per year and then they die after a month and a half, then it might be pretty quick. But even the most popular gacha at some point is getting shut down, so it's actually the worst way to spend your money. I can't think of something that has less of a return than rolling 10 million times for your waifu when you could just look up an image of her. Here, this is me rolling for gacha right now. Grand Blue Fantasy Anila. There. I got the same end result as you get in your fucking video game. I get to look at big fat draft tits on a much larger screen than your phone, actually. So it's even superior. And that took me 3 seconds. I didn't have to spend any money. Now I am just going to pretend that Anila is my girlfriend, Dommy, Mommy, or whatever the fuck that gacha players do without wasting money, and I have the same fucking experience as you. Wow, nice RNG. Yeah, first try. You can't do that. I will imagine that the gacha girl is my girl without engaging in the gambling mechanic. This is my power. Japan has tiny fuck-off island that extends its territorial claim to less than 5 miles of Taiwan. That explains a lot, I would say. Japan colonized the fuck out of Taiwan. They forced Taiwanese to learn Japanese, and some of those people are still alive. But the number one reason why Taiwan likes Japan is because Taiwan has to deal with Big Brother China hanging over their dick all day long. So obviously that's going to make them like Japan way more. Also, it's like, you know, a 20-minute airplane flight between Taiwan and Japan or something. It's super close, so people literally go to Japan over the weekend and shit. Flight Taiwan to Tokyo. Time. Yeah, it's like 3 hours. If you want a good idea of why I'm saying that Taiwan is basically Japan, here's an example of Kugimiya Rie visiting. It's the outside only. This is them all on the outside.
粉丝，而拥挤人潮是挤爆了这个压垮了这个摊位的隔墙。
So you can literally see the Kugimiya right here.
现场还有一名粉丝因为太挤了，当场休克昏倒。
双手用力撑到手都酸了，看书架摇摇晃晃就快垮下来，摊商赶紧疏散读者。
怎么会？外面活动整个人潮把我们压垮了。来，不好意思，请往外面走好吗？我们整理一下。
这可不是发生大地震，而是隔壁正在进行动画配音员丁公理会的签名会。
They're literally the exact same as Japanese otaku. Here she is. Holy shit, that body. Optimum. What a unit. He's literally just like me.
就是因为这季节没有荔枝，所以我带了这个来送给他。兴奋到了，这么辛苦，有了经过代价，我只要听够你会了。
Chigyu, Taiwan.
红头发的女主角就是要让他们口中的丁公老师瞧一眼，但没想到现场人潮太多，爆发推挤冲突，活动一度差点喊卡，丁公理会也吓坏了。
Isn't Taiwanese government the remnant of the exiled government from when the commies took over? Yes. But they were also colonized by Japan at the same time. Before Japan, then it became the Republican government or whatever you call it. I can't tell what they're doing here. Are they holding up a bookcase or something? I can't tell if that's some sort of earthquake or something, like the fucking otaku destroyed it. Here's another example. Taiwan VTuber. I wonder if it will show up. There was yeah, it's not immediately showing up. There was one situation in which I forgot it was which VTuber company it was. Maybe it was like Nijisaji or something. Was doing some sort of large Taiwan. I don't know. They were occupying the public screens, and there was just like otaku in a public space as far as the eye could see, like in a Times Square kind of sense. And they were all like yelling at the VTuber screens, and I was like, God damn, this country is fucking finished. They're deeper in the sauce, the anime otaku sauce, than Japan is at this point. We can't save them. They're fucking donezo. What is stopping you from growing a sick ass Yankee pompadour? It's that would be too hot and uncomfortable. I shaved my head because it's too fucking hot in my room, so I'm not gonna grow out my hair. That fucking sucks. I want to be comfortable, guys. "10 years from now, it will become Western Taipei." I will not believe any comments about China invading Taiwan and making it into a proper province of China until China actually fucking does it. China invading Taiwan is in the same category as self-driving cars for me at this point. Like, I don't care how many people tell me how it's going to happen any day now. I'll believe it when it actually happens, and I'm not going to believe it a day sooner than. Go ahead, fucking do it, China. I'm waiting. Minus 9,099 social credits. Remember, you have to say that Taiwan is already a province of China. You don't even have to invade it. That's kind of literally the Chinese government's stance on it, is that Taiwan is already a province of China. So theoretically, they don't have to invade it. They can just, like, wait. Or why should they even wait? It's already... Mission has already been accomplished. But for some reason, if you go to China and you wave around your Taiwanese flag or some shit, they will get very upset. I'm not sure why. It's almost as if China recognizes that Taiwan isn't a province of China. Huh. Strange. Kind of a banger, not gonna lie. This is fucking 6 minutes long, god damn. Africa is a very big country, yes. Also, genocide will never happen in other parts of the world, such as Western China or specific countries in the Middle East. I think my favorite genocide is humans literally murdering every single carrier pigeon off the fucking planet because we thought there were a lot of them and we could just eat them without it being a big deal, and they literally went extinct because we just murdered every single one of them by hand. It wasn't like some like spraying pesticides or destroying habitat. We just straight up killed every single one. Back in the day, carrier pigeons, and back in the day is like pretty recent history, by the way. It's like the 1910 or some shit like that. I can't remember when they were still around. There were so many carrier pigeons that they would like land on trees and the trees would break from the weight of carrier pigeons. And now they're all fucking gone. No, wait, I'm using the wrong word, not the carrier pigeon. What's the fucking name of the pigeon that went extinct? It's not carrier pigeon. That's the one that we still have. Pigeon extinct. Passenger pigeon, the opposite of carriers, passengers. Oh. I do think this bowl of water that I have my feet in is helping me maintain my low body temperature. Also, the air conditioning is technically on, but I can't really feel it. So how is everyone doing today? I never ask you guys how you're doing. My best friend. By the way, you're not actually supposed to say if you're doing poorly when you're asked how are you doing. Because I have autism, or at least I'm on the spectrum. I always want to be like, nah, I'm not actually doing well, but what you're supposed to say is I'm doing fine, because what they don't actually want an update on how you're doing. It's just human nature. I'm trying to make characters based on novel characters for an AU fanfic without reading said novels. What does AU stand for in this case? I immediately thought of EU, which would be Expanded Universe for the Star Wars nerds, but I don't know what AU stands for. Alternate Universe. I try and stay away from fan fiction, so I don't know all of the acronyms. Australian, of course. No, not the Australian fan fiction. The worst kind of fan fiction, the Australian expanded universe. Just Fosters and Vegemite and giant spiders and kangaroos as far as the eye can see. It would be a horrible dystopia. The best AU is Harry Potter and the Methods of Rationality. I was discussing this with my father when he showed up recently, but I think Harry Potter is the most recent new genre we've had. Like the concept of like a worldview. I started discussing this with my father when I was talking about how I had never finished watching any of the Blade Runner movies. But how Blade Runner basically created the cyberpunk genre, at least visually, how cyberpunk is supposed to look like. Like, we can no longer imagine a cyberpunk without a bunch of like floating Chinese signs and stuff like that, you know, thanks to Blade Runner. And I was thinking, what have we had recently since then that would be considered like a new genre? And I think the only thing that comes to mind that would be recent would be Harry Potter, I would say. Because like the Harry Potter universe isn't, it's significantly different from other forms of like traditional Western fantasy that have magic and stuff. Like sure it's wizards, but it's like a combination of English boarding school culture with like this concept of wizardry. It's like a combination of Ronald Dahl bullshit and magic and stuff. I guess Ronald Dahl has, you know, magic to begin with, but you know what I mean. Which is different from like Western fantasy, like Tolkien inspired Western fantasy. It's a different world. It made urban fantasy popular. The way I judge whether something is a new genre or not is if there's pretty obvious inspired copies by it. So there's a few pieces of media that became popular after Harry Potter that are obviously supposed to be Harry Potter inspired parodies, like Mashuru. Mashuru isn't just a magic or fantasy manga. It's clearly a Harry Potter fantasy, right? It's supposed to be Harry Potter. So, by that definition, I would say that Harry Potter is a new genre. That being said, I fucking hate Harry Potter, so, you know. Urban fantasy, where are the Millionade people then? There's a video game that recently released for Harry Potter in which you have as many dark-skinned wizards as you want, despite it being supposedly set in 1910 or something. I can't remember. Isekai have definitely helped popularize lit RPGs. So there's a term for the Isekai genre of worldview. Like, when I'm talking about Blade Runner as a cyberpunk genre and Harry Potter as, like, its own boarding school genre, I mean, like, there's a visual iconography for this genre, and then you just, like, put a bunch of these, like, reminders to your viewership. So, I guess the same can be said for Isekai. The Japanese term for the Isekai genre visual catalog is called Naroba. Naro being the website in which all the Isekai started out from, and Pa being like the Europe. So it's like fake Europe. It's not like actual Europe, but, you know, you just have some of those German houses and stuff like that. It's a non-specific European village houses or walled cities inspired by Europe but not actually being Europe. Which is based on Western fantasy, but the isekai, Japanese isekai, tends to be slightly more high fantasy than low fantasy. Because they don't actually want, you know, the standard European city where people are throwing shit from their windows every night. Hey, Rusty Kang, thanks for the sub. I appreciate the support. 1910, before brown people were invented. The thing is, Hogwarts is supposed to be located in England. So, the video game of a Hogwarts located in England, full of black people, while not impossible historically, is definitely taking a lot of liberties. And it's foolish to not recognize the obvious DEI that they're putting in. It just pisses me off when I see stuff that's supposed to be historical where they don't actually take the time to respect whatever racial dynamics that were going on at the time. Like, I know we're going to get a Fantastic Four movie soon, and it's supposed to be in 1960, and even in the trailers I can see a shit ton of black people, and I'm just like, ah yes, 1960, in which nothing was segregated, right? Like, try watching an actual movie from 1960. You won't see any fucking black people, because black people weren't allowed to be around the white people. I don't like whitewashing shit. Do you like Tom Cruise's The Last Samurai? I didn't like Last Samurai, and I don't like Dances with Wolves. It's a stupid fucking concept. I don't need a white guy gaijin to, you know, guide me into this foreign culture or something. Kind of like in RE4 where Leon is in not Spain. I think it's supposed to be Spain. It's not as not Spain as it's not Europe in Isekai. It's just kind of like fake Spain. It's closer to real Spain than whatever the fuck a version of fantasy Europe these Isekai are supposed to be. Oh, speaking about gaming, I bought Wonderful 101 and Stranger in Paradise, so that's gonna be what I'm gonna be gaming on these next few months, I guess. I don't know how much time I'm gonna be gaming. Not very much, I assume, but once I get some time and when I definitely don't want to draw, I'm gonna be playing those. Chaos, yes. The Chaos game. I'm getting ready for Neo 3, so I have to catch up on all the Team Ninja games I haven't finished. Hold on, do they still have the original Chaos trailer up?
My mission is to kill Chaos. That's all I know.
Me too.
Why does he want to kill Chaos?
All I care about is seeing Chaos dead. Does that answer your question?
No. Oh, here comes the princess. Here she comes.
Come on, Jack. Wouldn't kill you to smile for once.
I need more chaos in a shorter period of time. There's too much plot in this one. Let's just watch the original announcement. This was the most hyped version of the Chaos in its purest form before it became a meme. When the people who produced this trailer didn't recognize how many times he said Chaos.
I'm here to kill Chaos. That's my mission.
God, that's so fucking hardcore.
Looks like Chaos has been waiting for us.
You gonna make us go in there and find you?
Guess we'll just show ourselves in.
Shit is so hyped.
I only know one thing. I want to kill Chaos. We need to. It's not a hope or a dream.
It's not a hope or a dream. It's like a hunger, a thirst.
Move aside! You're dust!
You sure Chaos is here?
Yeah, they can only squash monsters for so long. I hate doing pest control.
This is the Shrine of Chaos.
This is the Shrine
He's
of
here.
Chaos.
We just have to hunt him down.
Feel the pain!
The darkness is so thick I can taste it. This is it. No doubt.
Die already!
God, 2000s core was so
There
cool.
was a knight who
Darkness
left
so
on the same
thick I can
journey as
taste
me,
it.
but never returned. His name was Garland. If you could, I would be grateful if you looked for him.
Chaos.
Chaos. Legendary gaming moments.
I'll crush you! Know when you're beaten!
And who are you? We're here to kill Chaos.
Said it again,
Prophecy's
guys.
very own warriors of light.
Real.
He always wore such splendid armor, with a helmet that was terrifying to behold.
It's Garland.
No. I become chaos.
You can't write this high level of Ludo Kino, even if you try. It has to come naturally. Damn, this was an old ass game. I can't tell if 2022 is a long time ago or not, honestly. It seems like a million years ago, but on the other hand, it was kind of far away, but it also seems very recent. I can't really decide. 8 times? That felt like, 12 times, honestly. Chaos Core. I like when he says, besides the time when he says chaos, which I also enjoy, I also like when he says, you are finished, and I also like when he says, the darkness so thick I can taste it. I usually make it a thing to play all of my video games with Japanese voice acting, but Stranger of Paradise is definitely a game that I'm going to have to play in English. You can't get that level of Kino with Japanese. It'll actually just sound normal. Chaos. The thing is, as silly as that trailer is, Team Ninja still makes the best action roleplay game gameplay, if we're going by gameplay. I know because I was just playing Bloodborne and the Neo 3 demo back to back next to each other. And it's shocking how fucking good just Neo gameplay is in every aspect. If I were to have a dream game production, what I would do is I would get From Software to design all the art assets and like the dungeon map design for the video game. And then for They also get to write the lore. And then Team Ninja would design the combat system and write the plot based on the lore. Actually, From Software would be allowed to write the lore, but they wouldn't be allowed to have the chosen undead for the millionth time. Did you ever beat that sexy cat demon lady? What, are you talking about some sort of stream I did? I can't remember. Did I ever do a Neo 2 stream with you guys? Because there's definitely a cat demon lady in there. I've beaten Neo 2 twice. I've beaten all the Team Ninja Souls-like games, I would say. Well, I guess I haven't beaten all of them because I haven't played Stranger of Paradise yet. And I haven't played Rise of the Ronin yet. I'm waiting for it to get a price drop. But I'll probably play it before Neo 3 comes out. Kojima will produce the trailer. Actually, I think I'd rather have Kojima write the lore. No, okay, From Software can write the lore. Kojima writes the... I don't know. I think I really like the Team Ninja plots, though. The Neo 2 plot was actually really well put together. Okay, Kojima gets to write the in-game interaction codec calls. There, that's perfect. Like, you can read the lore in the item description normally, but then every once in a while you'll get a fucking codec call. And it'll be like, Zanzibar the Myrmidon will call you, and he'll be like, Snake, do you know what the Moonlight Greatsword does? And he'll be like, huh. Let me see. I see the hilt has been customized. This is a good sword. That's right, Snake. It only got one limited production back in 1960 during the Eisenhower administration. It was meant as a weapon to stop the Cold War. Just checked. Ball drew Kasha the Neo 2 cat lady 5 years ago. Yes, the cat was sexy. A cat is fine too. I think that was a request on Patreon though. Who makes the soundtrack? I think Kojima makes the soundtrack, honestly. I think a lot of people overrate From Software soundtracks. Like, they're epic and all, but they're not very memorable, you know? Like, I couldn't remember From Software soundtrack off the top of my head. Whereas I could sing you a Metal Gear Solid soundtrack right now. You played Death Stranding 2? I haven't played 1 yet. I've been waiting for a good time to play 1, but I haven't really found my timing yet. But I'll definitely play 1 and then I'll play 2. I'm not going to skip on 1. Like this one, I can definitely remember this way more than I can remember any From Software game soundtrack. When I first played Metal Gear Solid 2, I'm like, this game fucking sucks. Because, like, there's so little resolution, and, like, half of it is just Kojima's shitty writing yelling at you through codec calls. But it's really grown on me. Like, I assume it's grown on everyone. It's one of those weird games that somehow becomes more and more important as time goes on, because all the shit that Kojima was talking about that seemed really stupid in the year 2000 suddenly seems extremely relevant now in the future. But I guess he was predicting the future already because they had to, like, change the ending because September 11th happened. Da 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 da. Da, da. Do you know how many times I've heard this exact sentiment about Metal Gear Solid 2? I assume there's a lot of people who feel that way. It just seemed dumb when I was playing it the first time, you know? It's like, Jesus Christ, he's still talking about the internet. What the fuck? But in 2025, it's like, holy shit, Kojima was right all along. If only we were smart enough to realize what Kojima was trying to tell us. The good thing about Kojima is that for every future predicting cool thing he says like 30 things that are absolutely fucking stupid. So you never really have to take him that seriously. Like, remember Fortune from Metal Gear Solid 2? And how, like, she thought she was lucky. And then at the end of the game, it turned out that she had some sort of magnetic bullet field deflecting bullets away from her, and she didn't even fucking notice that there was this technology protecting her from getting shot. And he was like, huh, you're so stupid. I was like, holy shit, how could you not notice? And then, of course, the technology gets turned off and the bullets still miss her. And they're like, huh, I guess she really was Lady Luck after all. I'm like, holy shit, Kojima. How more cheesy can you get? It also doesn't help that he abandons gameplay for like 40 minutes to an hour at a time in his games. Especially Metal Gear Solid 2, it's just like talking. So there's a million complaints I can have about some of these games, but there's a lot of games that I would consider to be quote-unquote better video games than them that I don't remember and don't care about in the same way, so... It was her pacemaker. Yeah, that's pretty still fucking stupid. Do, do, do. $2 million views just for watching Snake climb a fucking ladder, guys. Fucking 2 million views from 13 years ago. People just regularly want to climb the fucking ladder. You can't fake this shit. Some people just have that Kojima gene. What a thrill. Clunk, 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 clunk. Wait for it. This is peak cinema here, guys. Snake Eater! I assume they had to put the ladder climb in for disc loading reasons and stuff, but I'm sure it didn't need to be this fucking long, right? And Kojima was like, let's extend the ladder climb by another like 2 minutes and then play the fucking song. See, that's authorship right there, you know? What was the lore from the ladder again? There is no lore. You're just going from like one part of the map to the other part of the map. You're like climbing a mountain and then the Soviet base is on the other side of the mountain, but it's just like, to get to the next area, you have to climb the fucking ladder, that's it. It's extremely Kino, it comes out of nowhere. They don't warn you about, like, Snake, you'll have to climb this super long ladder. At least, I don't remember them saying anything about that. It just shows up and it's like, okay, time to climb the ladder. And you assume it'll be just like a short ladder climb. And then when you start climbing it, you're like, holy fuck, we're still climbing. What's going on? And then the music comes in and you're like, oh fuck, it's a Kojima moment. Hashtag Kojima moment. Trademark. So beautiful. It's great that Kojima is still making games, by the way. Which isn't really a given, considering all of his other contemporaries are fucking gone. Like, Miyamoto isn't making games. I know he's a little younger than Miyamoto, but he's definitely from the sort of the previous generation, and he still gets to make video games, so that's fucking great. Ocelot's meow is my favorite Kojima moment. I like when Ocelot says the thrill of battle. Reloading. Such a thrill. I think my favorite Kojima moment is when you get to ogle Eva's tits in the menu, and then when you check like the medical diagnostics of her in the Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater menu, you know that there's like previous surgery history, i.e. she had fake tits. I feel like that's some real peak Kojima shit right there. It's like this weird mix of both like sexualization and ogling of female figures, but also it's like a weird kind of realism to it. It's like you can't just have perfect sexy girls, she also has fake tits. Why didn't the Patriots invent a virus that makes boobs bigger? Are they stupid? I can't remember because I haven't played Metal Gear Solid 5 yet because I was disgusted by the fact that Kojima didn't get to finish it, and it also isn't a big boss story. When I heard that it was about Venom Snake, I was like, I'm out. But did they have virus invention in Metal Gear Solid 5? So there's Fox Die in the first game, right? I can't remember if there was also like some virus plot point. I think Skullface did have a virus engineered to kill the English language or something. Yeah, I vaguely remember reading about this and I was like, holy shit. I don't think I'm ever going to play Metal Gear Solid 5. This is too stupid even for me. I don't think I can tolerate this. I'll play it at some point probably, but it's in my fucking PlayStation Plus library and I still haven't touched it, so I'm obviously not that interested in it. I think Venom's arc of having to live up this imagined idea of Big Boss and having to reconcile his erased past and the story with past when they were in MSF. I don't know, man. I know why people didn't like it, but I still think it has merit. The whole point of the game was it was supposed to close the loop with Big Boss becoming the villain, going from the hero in Metal Gear Solid 3 to the villain in Metal Gear, well, not even Solid, right? The first original Metal Gear. So, not getting that story is just like a massive betrayal of the whole basic concept and the story progression and stuff. It would be like if we watched episode 3 of Star Wars, instead of Anakin, like, going full heel and, like, killing the younglings and shit like that, we learn halfway through the movie that it's actually not Anakin. It's someone who looks like Anakin, and you're still allowed to like Annie, your favorite protagonist, and just ignore how he becomes Darth Vader or some shit like that. It's just like, come on. Like, what the fuck is going on here? You can't be serious about this shit. But, yeah. I don't know, it seems like a massive waste of time for me to play the game if they can't commit to that concept. Also, Metal Gear Solid 4 was kind of a clusterfuck as well. When Big Boss showed up alive in Metal Gear Solid 4, I was just like, what the fuck is this? But on the other hand, I feel that way about a lot of Kojima productions. It's just a lot of moments where I'm like, what the fuck is this? Seriously, Kojima? But at the end of the day, I come out of it being like, well, I want directors to be allowed to do whatever they want. And it's more memorable that way, and it is more memorable that way. Still working hard on your dream? Yeah, I think I'm getting to the point where the general quality of the art looks professional enough, especially these top panels, if you'll see. I'm kind of figuring out what is the right thickness of ink to make the image pop properly and make it look professional. So now that I've figured it out and have figured out most of the pens that I want to use and then what sort of timing to use them, I can start drawing faster. I know I've been saying this for a long time, but I'm going to start drawing faster soon, but I really think I am going to start drawing faster soon if I can stop, you know, wasting my time and like jacking off all day. Quite sure your art beats majority of released manga, but that's the thing. The majority of released manga can beat the shit out of my art if they actually have unlimited amount of time like I do. But they don't. They have to shit out 16 pages on a time limit. And generally we see like the kneecapped versions of a lot of artists instead of them at their full power with as much time as they want. Obviously there's people who are professional mangaka that have worse art than I do, but it's also important to remember that they all have to shit this stuff out very quickly. Nobody beats crazy art quality of damn hentai doujins. Yeah, they only have to draw 60 pages every 6 months. If they're doing the Komiket schedule, right? So it's only like, and sometimes it's even like 30 pages or 20 pages every 6 months. So think how much time they have to spend on it. Obviously they probably have to release more than 2 doujins per year, but some of them only release 2 doujins per year and make enough money just doing that. Follow some of the top porn dudes and it's crazy how quickly they produce. Most people can draw pretty quickly, quicker than I can. But up until this point, I've basically been figuring how to draw in a context of like posting shit on Twitter. But I feel like now that I've sort of got a basic idea of what I want my art to look like in a manga context, I can start going faster. Also, it doesn't help that I'm talking to you guys. I'm definitely working at like 1/3 speed when I'm streaming. I'm not a very good multitasker. See, right now I'm trying to figure out the correct pen to use to get this, what do you call it? Hatching. It's not really hatching, but parallel line gray areas, and I haven't really figured that out yet. I'm using a different pen for the hatching up here versus the hatching down here and stuff, but once I really figure that out, what to use in what situation every time, then that will make it faster. Drapery or shading? Yeah, the shading lines. I don't know, you have the arts degree, bro? I don't have an arts degree, I have an art minor. Art degrees do nothing. Maybe it is hatching. I think this is cross hatching because here it's crossed. So maybe without the cross, it's just hatching just like that. Alright, I am falling asleep, so I'm gonna get the fuck out of my extremely hot and uncomfortable room and continue grinding this shit without playing video games and instead drawing all day long. See you around, boys. Good night.